Very young, very intelligent guy who did his homework, organic relationship to the brand to begin with, which is exactly what we love to see. Somebody we had followed on our platforms, who is very much a rising star as a youth basketball player, got his hands on the product, showed some interest, conversations ensued.
All right, welcome back inside our proactive newsroom. And joining me now is Benjamin Schubert. He is the CEO of Varon Corp. And Ben, it's good to see you again. How are you?
Very well, thank you. Good to be here.
Yeah, so a couple of pieces of news to talk about to you today. First off, Ballislife HYDRO is a drink that you have that's really designed towards athletes, and you had a really interesting investor come in, a young man who's a basketball player with a pretty good pedigree as far as parents are concerned.
Absolutely. Yeah, very excited to announce that news this week. Very young, very intelligent guy who did his homework, organic relationship to the brand to begin with, which is exactly what we love to see. Somebody we had followed on our platforms, who is very much a rising star as a youth basketball player, got his hands on the product, showed some interest, conversations ensued. Obviously, based on his age, got some very exciting support from the family behind him. Very proud to say that Egypt Dean is now a partner and owner in the Ballislife sports drink.
Yeah, he is the son of Alicia and Swizz Beatz. And you mentioned his age 15, but he's a very astute 15-year-old. I have a 15-year-old, and I know what he's like. But Egypt is very strong as far as the business world is concerned on what he wants to invest in.
Yeah, I got the pleasure of meeting him a couple months ago, I guess it was, at one of our photo shoots, right when he was starting to get involved with the brand. I can honestly say I did not know how old he was after that encounter. When I heard he was 15, I was pretty shell shocked. Very intelligent young man. Definitely does his homework. I can absolutely say he has opportunity on opportunity that he has passed down. Opportunities that will put money in his pocket, and chosen to give himself the opportunity to get involved with the sports drink, which definitely cost him some money. So, he's someone who analyzes. He's very due diligence oriented, has an incredible support system. He's very much attached to the game of basketball. And it was just a natural evolution to see that entrepreneur side of Egypt come out when it came to this product. So about to keep him on the court, doing what he loves, but also on the business side, which I think really was the, deciding factor.
Yeah, and I guess he's a perfect sort of start demographic and older for what you're looking for with Ballislife HYDRO.
A good point. We want to stay in touch with the youth demo. We have an absolute connection to them. That is a large part of our market. And because of the nature of the product being so healthy and about that wellness aspect, we are allowed to market towards a younger demographic, because unlike as energy drink, for example. And he really stays in touch with that demographic. He's part of that. He is up on the trends. He understands how they speak, the vocabulary, the language, what is interesting to them, what type of trends they're on. So he actually brings a really unique perspective to the brand. A lot of brands don't associate with people of that age and try and assume they know what they're into and what they like. And now we have our ear to the street from one of our partners who's very much in line with the demographic.
And Ben, obviously, Egypt has a very well-known family, as I mentioned, Alicia and Swizz Beatz, and I would imagine that they're very in tune with what their son is doing as well and what he's putting his money into.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, they were very involved in the process from a support standpoint. I think it really is important to understand this was Egypt's decision. This is something that is his project that he'll be moving forward with, but there's no doubt about it that when you have the support that he does, that will turn up in many very interesting ways. Tapping into that network at a very early stage, which what I've seen in the last week or two and what's to come is definitely very exciting for us. The network is nothing to sneeze at.
Let's talk about another piece of news that was quite significant as well, and that is that you're in 95 retail locations now across Central Florida, partnering with a huge giant as far as retail is concerned.
Yeah, absolutely. It's part of a very well planned and rollout that we've had. I think it's the third or the fourth region with said retailer that will be rolling out, and this is a very, very important market to us. It makes a lot of sense, a hydration product in this type of climate. Obviously, rolling it out alongside our NBA equity partner Desmond Bain, who plays for the Orlando Magic. So utilizing his network as well and his likeness in store, signature can coming out. I think this week. In all of these retailers. So very excited about that rollout. Florida will be a very important market for us.
Yeah, and that's just, as I mentioned, 95 retail locations, but I would imagine the plan is to expand on that and see how they go. It's a competitive market, but getting in there right away is obviously a real positive for the company.
Sure. I mean, that it's a starting point. It's to
Yeah.
get data and analytics and to understand who the consumer is, exactly what flavors and what packaging they're into. Because of that starting point, obviously that leads into a much larger discussion with distributors who have a much larger retail account base. This is an anchor account that gets us in there. It helps us start our marketing efforts, and once we're in there delivering, it'll be a lot easier to open up the floodgates for hundreds of doors in that neighborhood.
Well, congratulations on both of those things. Very exciting for you and the team, and appreciate your time today. Thanks very much.
Thanks as always, Steve. Appreciate your time. Cheers.
All right, Benjamin Schubert, he's the CEO of Varon Corp.